President Zelensky opens Kyiv's first International Defence Industries Forum as he encourages more manufacturers to produce arms in Ukraine. We hear from young voters in Slovakia as the EU country went to the polls in a knife-edge election with Ukraine high on the agenda.
Come and hear the sounds of swing in a former Soviet nuclear warhead depot deep inside the Czech Republic.
Ukraine has hosted an international defence industry conference as part of a government effort to ramp up weapons production within the country. Around 250 defence companies from more than 30 countries gathered in Kyiv as President Zelensky looks to repel Russia's invasion and reduce dependence on foreign arms deliveries.
Усі, хто готовий разом з Україною і в Україні будувати арсенал вільного світу. Сучасний та потужний арсенал, який не залишить шансів жодному агресору.
Zelensky announced the creation of the Defence Industries Alliance and added that 13 defence companies have already signed up. He plans to establish a special fund, which will be paid into through dividends from state defence resources and profits from the sale of confiscated Russian assets. Voters in Slovakia headed to the polls on Saturday in an early parliamentary election that will decide the fate of the EU country's stance over Ukraine. And with the result too close to call, 18 to 25-year-olds who make up around 500,000 voters could make all the difference.
I think that these elections are really very important for our future and the future of our young citizens, so I'm really very curious how it will be in the end.
It's a decision between the democracy and the orientation on the east for Russia.
The old party, the Smer, there are a lot of corruption, a lot of cause, or I don't know how to say, crisis, and the progressive Slovakia, the PSK, they want to make some big changes, for example, for people from LGBT.
Progressive Slovakia's leader and political newcomer Michal Šimečka says every single vote matters, but his rival and former Prime Minister Robert Fico has warned against what he calls amateurs who lack experience in politics.
A fiatalok körében a progresszív Szlovákia, az idősebbek körében pedig a Smer a népszerűbb párt. Ha csak a 30 év alattiak szavazhatnának, akkor Robert Fico pártja be sem jutna a parlamentbe, Michal Šimečka pártja pedig fölényesen nyerné a szavazást. A következő kormány összetétele viszont, bárki is nyeri a választást, a koalíciós tárgyalásoktól függ majd. Magyar Attila, Euronews, Pozsony.
Pope Francis has created 21 new cardinals from across the world, saying diversity was indispensable to the future of the Catholic Church. With the sun shining over the Vatican City's St. Peter's Square, the 86-year-old Pope said their variety would serve the Church like musicians in an orchestra. These clergymen will help him enact his reforms, govern, and one day elect his successor. Saturday's consistory is the 9th since Francis was named head of the world's 1.3 billion Catholics in 2013.
Back in the spring, Jan Smigmator's swing band played at New York's famous Carnegie Hall. Now the Czech band are playing deep underground in a former Soviet nuclear warhead depot called Havel 51, which has been converted into the Atom Museum.
Akustika tady v Atom muzeu je naprosto vynikající, nám se tady hraje skvěle a moc se mi líbí myšlenka po celém světě ze skladů atomové munice udělat jazz kluby.
It's hidden deep inside a forest where during the Cold War no Czechoslovak citizen was allowed to enter.
Tohle muzeum bylo založeno proto, abychom varovali budoucí generace před tím, co si prožili naši dědové, naši otcové a aby se to již nikdy neopakovalo.
The concerts are trying to highlight the danger of nuclear weapons, particularly as there's another major war being fought in Europe.
Dnešní vzkaz z bývalého úložiště jaderných hlavic zní jasně: Make art not war. Jiří Skáncel, Euronews, Brdské lesy.